In this section, we're going to talk about communications and some of the vulnerabilities that come with it. It's so important that we address the #1 way that threat actors attack your organization. I would argue that email is that #1 favorite vector of attack. Spoofing and phishing are two of the methods of choice that threat actors use for email attacks. With spoofing, you will likely receive an email that looks like it comes from someone you're associated with. This could be IT or even a principal or coworker. From my experience, many times the email starts with the words, "Are you available?" and often results in the person saying that they want to do something special for the staff and are trying to convince you to go out and buy, say, $1,000 worth of iTunes gift cards. I've known several school districts that have actually gone out, purchased the gift cards thinking that they were doing something their supervisor wanted them to do, and ultimately ended up encumbering a personal loss. Please hear me. No administrator in your organization will ever ask you to use your personal money to buy gift cards for your staff. Please don't fall for this scam. I hear of this happening to individuals multiple times a year. And also, never share your password or other information. Nobody's going to ask for that. You know how your organization works. And even if you get a message from your superintendent that looks out of place, make sure to verify it before just accepting it. If at the end of the day it turns out that someone in authority was actually trying to communicate, I'm sure they would be more appreciative that you were trying to be cautious rather than the district organization being compromised. Usually, IT departments set up authentication methods called DKIM, DMARC, and SPF. These prevent other people from using your actual domain name to send emails. However, people get creative. For instance, our email addresses at Canyon are firstname.lastname@canyonisd.net. But I've seen people create email addresses that look something like firstname.lastname.canyonisd.net@somewebsite.com. I've also seen hackers take an alternative domain, so if you're bushlandisd.net, someone may buy bushlandisd.org. Or what about bushlandlsd.net? If you type it out right now, you'll see that bushlandisd.net and bushlandlsd.net look exactly the same when put into a browser. Some email systems have warnings when this happens. For instance, at Canyon, if someone sends from canyonlsd.net and sends from Michael Keo, which is me, it's going to put a yellow banner up, or maybe a red X where my face should be. This should be an indication that this didn't actually come from Michael Keo in IT. Even if the message looks like it came from someone, always verify if it seems out of place. You know, we've mentioned multi-factor authentication throughout this video. Everyone watching this should set up multi-factor authentication. This is the #1 most important way that you can protect your email account, as well as your social media accounts. Multi-factor authentication is when you use a cell phone or an app to authenticate that you're really trying to log into your account. This adds a stop to the login process, so even if the threat actor has your username and your password, they would have to have your cell phone or access to your app in order to finalize the login process and get into your account. Once you have multi-factored on a computer, that computer is considered trusted, and you shouldn't have to do it again very often. The video on this slide was published on YouTube by Kaspersky Antivirus. Again, this is not an endorsement for Kaspersky, but the video describes phishing pretty well. You will see a link above, and I encourage you to go ahead and take the time to click that now and watch that video. I'm going to talk a little more about phishing in the next slide. I thought it was important for you to see how easy it is for people to phish users. This is an email I sent to a Hotmail account. I built a program that sent mail from alerts@facebook.com. I don't have access to Facebook's email system, but when you receive this email, it has the Facebook logo and warnings that your account has been compromised. Then there's a link in the email that takes you to a website that looks something like https, so we know it's secure, facebook.secure_password_reset_system.com. At the time of me making this video, I went to GoDaddy.com and I searched for secure_password_reset_system.com, and I could buy it today from GoDaddy for $1. So adding the Facebook as a subdomain is no big deal. Once you click the link, it takes you to a page that looks just like Facebook. It asks you for your current username and password to prove that you really are you. Then I give you the option to reset your account. And by the time that you realize the site was a scam, I've already logged into your Facebook account, I've locked you out, and I'm currently trying to use the same password in your Hotmail account and Gmail account as well as other things. Then I'm going to social engineer your friends and use your good name to attack them while posing as you. I can do a ton of damage in an extremely short period of time. Once I get into your email or Facebook, the first thing I'm going to do is back up as much as possible. There's methods where I can back up your mail, your contacts, your Google Drive, and offload all that online storage. It may take me months to comb through that data, but I will find a ton more ways to compromise your accounts and the people that you're associated with. Clickbait is similar to phishing. Hackers use images and text that prompt you to click into their site. This could be a warning that your computer's been compromised and prompting you to click here or to contact Microsoft support and giving you a phone number. Or possibly 17 facts you won't believe are true. Click here to find out more. The sites these take you to may be dangerous or compromise your personal data. At very least, they're riddled with advertisers that install tracking tools on your browser. The clickbait may be even things you're interested in. Remember at the beginning video, we talked about your metadata and your search history and how advertisers use that to target you. Well, if advertisers can use that to target you, so can hackers. And so they can build clickbait advertisements around things that you're interested in. A few years back, I built a website. Keep in mind, I did all this legally. When you went to the website, you were prompted with a game or some information. What you didn't realize in the background is that if you were running an older version of Internet Explorer, I had a script that exploited your browser. The exploit didn't let you know anything. It didn't prompt you to install anything, didn't ask you to click anything, but notified me that you visited the site. The computer on my end was monitoring the site, and I immediately got administrative control of every computer that visited the site that was running that version of Internet Explorer. Even after you leave my site, I still retained access and control, and I can monitor everything you do, install dangerous programs, or steal your information. When I'm done with you, you have no idea that you've been hacked or that I was even there at all, or that I have your passwords and personal information. I would finish you off with a ransom attack requesting thousands of dollars to return your information. If you paid the ransom, I'd unlock your computer and I'd give you back your sensitive data. And if you didn't pay it, I would sell the data on the dark web. So either way, I'm going to get paid. Are you scared yet? I'm putting a link above to a YouTube video that shows the entire process of me creating the website and exploiting a computer. It is a little bit technical, but ultimately it proves my point. When communicating, oftentimes you have to share files or send files in an email. Encryption is an important part of that. So we have to understand the why, when, types, and how of doing encryption. Why? Because sensitive data is even more safe and secure. When? Primarily when data is sensitive or has personal identifiable information. And what types? Well, it can be on a disk, a cloud, or in an email system. And how do we encrypt? And this may vary by organizations. Usually requires a master password. But both Gmail and Office 365 have built-in encryption systems that allow you to send encrypted emails. If your organization hasn't turned these on, then get with them and find out how to send encrypted emails, or when you should. With this slide, you can see kind of how to add encryption to Gmail and Office 365. If you don't use this feature, then other people can gain access to documents both in transit or if your account is ever compromised. Think of it this way. You send an email with a social security number, but you don't encrypt it. Maybe someone intercepts the communication and steals it using a honeypot or another method, or maybe it even gets to the recipient. Now years later, their account gets hacked, and the hacker grabs all of their old emails, including the one with the social security number. You may not be aware for years that these numbers have been compromised, and when you are aware of it, you likely won't know how. As a rule of thumb, never send PII information or sensitive data without using encryption. And make sure the recipient understands the type of encryption you're sending. For instance, the Gmail version of encryption can self-delete and is only viewable inside of Gmail. The Office 365 encryption is encrypted until it's opened and decrypted. And once it's decrypted, it needs to be deleted. Both encryption methods are valuable, and in fact at Canyon ISD, we use both for specific purposes. There's times where we want to be able to decrypt the data and copy it. And there's other times we don't want it being copied and we want it to self-delete. The most important thing is that you find out with your administration what the expectation is for encryption and sending sensitive data.